Hi everyone, Great Power 60 here. So, Tea with Me Tuesday. I had a bunch of things I was going to talk about. I had a whole bunch of stuff. I was doing a little research on some stuff. And I went, oh, and you know what? I forgot my magnifying glass. So this is a funny cup. I've never used it. It's kind of sits funny. I've never used it. And I'm not sure. It's from Czechoslovakia. Bernadotte. Bernadotte. Porcelain something made in Europe. No. Anyway, it's from Czechoslovakia. Oh my God, I can't talk tonight. I can't talk. Anyway, as far as I can tell, I have one cup left, but I broke the saucer many years ago. But I kept the cup because I love it. Actually, I have two like that. So I don't really have any more sets left. Is that the end of my Tea with Me Tuesday? It's very windy out. Sending prayers and hugs to everyone in our neighboring United States who are suffering from all of those tornadoes. It's unbelievable. And it's sad. We don't get them here very often, very rarely. But a couple of years ago, we had a tornado in the western part of our city, just outside the city, and it was horribly devastating. Now, this year, I have never seen it so bad, but we have had floods, unbelievable floods in our city and surrounding areas. And there's a lot of things I didn't know, and I grew up here pretty much, lived here most of my life, aside from a few travels here and there, and didn't know that the Ottawa Valley is in what they call a watershed. Now, I have to check what that means. It's kind of like a wash, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, and I really want to do some research on that because I find it absolutely fascinating that I've lived here all these years and I really don't know, sort of the terrain of the land where I live, physical land, earth. So when I find something new like that, I love to research. I love to find out more information about things. Even if it's just skimming the surface, I don't always necessarily, go right into the, minute details of things. But I really enjoy learning new things and things that surprise me, and truths and not non-truths, I don't want to say falsehoods and I don't want to say lies. So there are truths, and then there are sort of non-truths, which are maybe exaggerations of the truth in things. And anyway, so we have, this has been a sad year for a lot of people living in these flood zones. And most people are prepared. They've built sort of dam walls kind of thing, or sandbag walls, anticipating, the runoff of the snow melts and the rivers rise, and that's kind of an occurrence every year. But and they've prepared in areas where they are sort of flood zones. But this year was extremely bad. 2 years ago, they did have floods that were kind of shocking. And this year, they've sort of surpassed it almost 3 feet, which is unheard of. It's unbelievable. So a state of emergency was held, and my heart goes out to people who have, bought homes near where they can look out at the water and enjoy the beach and things like that, and or the water line or whatever you want to call it, and have a beautiful view and enjoy earth and nature and things, and then suddenly to be shocked that they're losing their homes because of the floods, and the damage is it's unbelievable. So my heart goes out to those people as well. So there's been a lot of things going on. Mom and I sat outside today, even though it was coolish. I gave her a sweater and we sat out on the balcony for a while. I haven't put my plants out yet because it's still too cold. I think another couple of weeks, I think we're going to. Normally, this time of year last year, I'm pretty sure I had most of my plants outside. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong. But we sat outside and we had a little chat and looked around. And of course, there's a lot of rain clouds, dark clouds, very, very windy. But where we sit, we don't get that forceful wind. It kind of comes around our building. So we sat outside for a little while, and I watched a couple of videos and we chatted, but she didn't stay long. Mom doesn't like the cold. And I've got to put that heater away because it is warm in our apartment. I've had my window open since practically the 1st of April, like all day, all night. And finally, my fan broke. I finally bought an upright fan to have in my room because it's just too warm in here for me. And as you get older, that happens a lot, especially in the elderly. I mean, really elderly. I'm talking people's in their 80s and 90s. Excuse me. Where, they find the chill easily. Because I am always warm, someone had said to me, maybe you should get your thyroid checked. Well, I did have it checked a few years ago. Maybe I'll do it again. I don't know. But I'm just finding that I'm total opposite. And it's funny, when I was young, my feet and hands were always cold. I was always cold. I would bundle and still be cold. Layers. My feet would get cold so quickly in my hands. And that kind of disappeared, into my 40s. I don't remember my 30s, to be honest with you. I don't think so. But by the time I hit 50, I could go. I've been pretty well, I think, the last couple of years. I haven't even worn boots in the wintertime. I mean, I don't go out very far. I go from my house to my apartment to the car, which is like about 10 feet. And, so I haven't been wearing boots, and my feet, I don't get cold. I don't, it's very, very rare that I get cold. So that was, kind of things that have been going on. Mom is doing great. She's in good spirits. She's eating well. I'm getting ready to put my plants outside. They're starting to get healthy. They're starting to look good. I am not neglecting them for a change. I'm watering my plants. I used to kill all my plants. I used to have plants in the house when I was young. I got busy. I was doing stuff. Not that I'm not busy now, but it's just that, they're there, and I want them to be pretty, and I want them to grow, and I want them to be green, and I love to have them in my home. Crafting. Okay. Thank you so much for all the comments on my last couple of crafts that I've done. I really appreciate the comments, and hugs going out to all of you for watching. I do have a few ideas. Some of them are old ideas. Some of them, many people are doing them online on YouTube, but they're new to me. and their new ideas. And there's two that I saw today that I really, really want to try. So I've kind of got those scheduled to videotape. I don't care if I make mistakes. I want to take you along with me. Perhaps we can chat while I'm doing it. You might hear, no, I don't swear usually, unless I'm really, really angry. Things do slip out, but I don't swear like I used to when I was young. When I was young, I used to swear, maybe because I was more angry. I don't know. More stressed, more work, more people bugging you, more people wanting this from you and that from you and whatever. Anyway, retirement does have its benefits, even though I feel like I'm on the go more often than I was when I was working. I think it's when you're working, people kind of expect you to not be available because you're at work all day and they don't want to disturb you at night, but come the weekend, they will disturb you. But when you're retired, they call anytime, day and night, and, you know, can you do this? Can you do that? La da da da. It's just the way it is, and I'm going to have some tea. I pick it up like this because the handle is so close to the edge. You know, I don't know if I showed you the rim. It's got a gold rim around it. I should look this up and see, but it's rather an unusual. I have no idea where I got it. I don't know if it was in Mom's stash, my grandmother's, mine. I do have a cup and saucer that was actually dishes, but I only wanted one cup and saucer because I really liked it. I liked the shape of it for tea, and I brought it to work. I used to drink my tea from my teacups at work, but I didn't want to use my good cups, and I just liked the shape of it. So, and it wasn't too big. Anyway, just a little info there. What else is going on? Oh yeah, I was reading. The things I read sometimes is so silly. I was reading something crazy here. It was some. I was actually looking at some Canadian sites because a lot of information refers to American sites, which is great. The information is great, but sometimes I need it to be Canadian based, whether it's caregiving resources, things like that. It's understandable. And I came across this really good site. What is it? aplaceformom.com. Yes, that it was their blog. And I came across some funny stuff, and I was reading. It was how many? 8? I printed it off because I thought it was hilarious. 7, 8. 8 myths about aging, and I thought I knew them all. Anyway, so the first one was aging dulls our wits. In other words, you know, we're not as, you know, our brain isn't working or whatever. But I thought about this when I was reading it. It says sort of, you know, while our cognitive changes as we get older, we as older people can perform better because of in certain areas of our intelligence, and of course poorer in other areas. But then that's true of young people too, whatever. And we may have slower reaction times. And when I thought of that, I thought about something I had said to somebody many years ago. I think many years, could have been 20 years, in my 40s, whatever. And somebody had said to me, you know, something, I just remember about making a decision. That's all I remember about this. And I said, look, my brain is like a computer that has so much data in it. It takes longer to access the correct data for what you need to know. And to be honest with you, that's the same thing with Our computers slow down. Too much software, too much data, when it's becoming full, it takes longer to process. That's the same with a senior's brain. Come on, guys. We have so much information, so much experience, so much of data in our brains. It takes us a while to kind of access that file that you want the answer to. So just remember, seniors, our brain is like a computer. When there's too much data, it takes a little longer to access that data file, okay? That's just something that came to me when I was reading that. I thought that was great. Another one that made me giggle. This might be too much TMI. It may not. If there's any young people watching, whatever. Aging erases your libido. I won't get into details about libido in case people don't know what that means. People mean young people, because there may be some my grandsons watching, but they'll learn soon enough as they get older. The truth is, it does not decrease unless there's a medical reason, if you're alone. We won't get into that, but there are ways that single people do pleasure themselves, so we won't get into. I am so silly talking about this, but come on, guys. Unless I don't know. Until I get to be 90, I can't tell you. When I get to be 90, if I ever get there, I'll let you know how my sex life is, or how my libido is, basically, is what we're talking about. But some couples are shamed by their family into discussing their sex life or talking about sex to their adult children. Come on. It's life. I just laughed about that. Thank God my children are a little more open-minded. Maybe it's because I was a single mom and I was dating, and it was obvious that, whatever. I enjoyed myself. The other thing is that aging is depressing. Did you know that seniors are among the happiest people statistically? Happier people, because our kids are gone, supposed to be gone. We are not working anymore. We don't want to work anymore. We're taking time for ourselves. Now, there are other issues. Yes, there's health. There's responsibilities, like me looking after my mom. But believe me, no matter how anxious I get, depressed I get, no matter how stressed I get about worrying about mom and worrying about my brother and things like that, I am still at least 60% happier. And I have to be honest, 60% happier than I was when I was working. So, it's not. Anyway. Aging leads to loneliness. Well, if you are a loner when you're young, you're going to be a loner when you're older. If you're social when you're young, you're going to be social when you're older. And you will find ways. And there are always ways to be social. There's always something that you can do. Volunteer work. There's all kinds of, look what I'm doing, crafting again. I didn't craft like I'm crafting now. I did a lot of writing, a lot of reading. I was in a totally different frame of mind when I was younger. But, this is going way too long again. Let me just give you another one here. It says that aging makes you less creative. Come on. There are people that start painting in their 80s and 90s, and they are just brilliant. I've forgotten some. I wanted to put it down. I'm not even going to bother with the other two, although I thought they were, here. I just thought they were fun to watch, fun to read about, fun to talk about. And I thought I would share it with you tonight. It's life. It's real. It's life. And that's just the way it is. I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm going to end it here. I don't want to run too long again. I could be chatting here for another hour. I should do these live, and I wish I could, but unfortunately, when I want to do these videos, I have to wait till Mom goes to sleep, and then sometimes it's late and sometimes it's early. So I want to thank everyone for joining me and for coming back week after week and listening to me ramble on about this and that and those things. I mean, some of the stuff, I think what I was doing when I came across this, I was looking up more resources for caregivers, more resource information. In other words, more things that I may need to know, that I've either forgotten or I just want to be reminded about, and things like that. So thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.